Naruto's eyes fluttered open, seeing the white hospital roof above him. His memories quickly came back. The invasion, Gaara, and Orochimaru. Kurama's voice rang inside his mind. Finally awake, kid? Yeah, I'm awake. How long have I been out? 2 days. If you had not used so much of my chakra, you would have been up in 1. But I needed your body to return to normal before I could properly heal you and refill your chakra. An upside is that you can now use about 4 taels worth of my chakra now. Do you know what's going on outside? Kurama shook his head. Naruto thanked the fox before fully opening his eyes. On his right, a vase of flowers were placed on his nightstand, as well as his shinobi gear. His sword rested against the bed. He felt someone squeeze his hand. He stiffly turned his head to see his girlfriend, Hinata. Her head rested on his chest, her hair all messed up, as if she had not brushed it during the past few days. Her eyes still held tears, which had created a small wet spot on the blankets. Her one hand held his own, while the other rested on her kunai pouch, prepared to defend her love if necessary. Naruto smiled. His princess was downright adorable when she slept, even in the state she was in now. He reached over and ran his hand through her dark blue hair, making her stir. She lifted her head, wiping the sleep and tears away with the back of her hand. She opened her pure white eyes, which quickly darted to Naruto. A small gasp came from her before she jumped forward, wrapping her arms around him. Hinata, could you let me breathe? Hinata's grip only tightened. Don't scare me like that again, Naruto. When Jiraiya showed me to your room, I felt like my heart would burst. It's not like I sustained any major injuries. It was only chakra exhaustion. Even so, please be more careful. Naruto did not answer, and simply pulled Hinata closer, both enjoying the silence. That is, until both heard a noise from outside the window. A familiar, perverse giggle. Naruto was up instantly, all feelings of exhaustion gone as he jumped out the window in his hospital clothes. He turned midair and threw a kunai laced with fire chakra at the large man. You were gonna die someday, pervy sage. The kunai hit dead on, piercing the notepad Jiraiya held, filled with his research. The book fell from his hand, burnt to a crisp. Jiraiya let out a horrified scream. No! My research for the next book was in that! That's what you get for peeking in on our private moment, pervy sage, Hinata called from the window. After Jiraiya had finished crying over his work, he joined the young couple in Naruto's room. So, how you feeling, kid? Naruto flexed his arms. Good as new. Good, the sage said. I will get you discharged. Afterwards, you have a meeting with the Hokage and the council. They will want to hear about Shukaku and Orochimaru's reanimation jutsu. Naruto pouted at the news, but agreed to attend. Oh, one more thing. Gaara came to visit you while you were sleeping. Him and his team are being held in prison for another 2 days before they are sent back to the sand. Why have they not left yet? A few reasons. 1. The Sand Village elders offered Gaara as a peace offering. Of course, the old man refused, knowing that you would not have liked having a fellow Jinchuriki being sold off. The second reason is that the elders are, understandably, cautious about taking back Gaara. His father, the Kazekage, is dead, meaning no one else can control him if he goes berserk. Because of that, they wish that you hand over the sealing formula you placed on him, just in case. They still don't trust him? Naruto asked, his anger showing. Can you really blame them, kid? His father sent multiple assassins after him, and each one was killed. Once, Shukaku was let free, and the late Kazekage was barely able to stop the beast. They just don't want him going crazy again. It will take a long time for his village to trust him. You know that. Naruto sighed. Yeah, I know. I just hope he can now live a proper life. Unlike me, he had no one to turn to when times were tough. Hinata placed her hand on his shoulder. He will be fine. He has you, and now his siblings have a chance to help him when they couldn't before. Naruto smiled, knowing that his teacher and girlfriend were right. Will I be able to see him? Of course, Jiraiya responded. I will schedule an appointment tomorrow. Naruto thanked the Sannin. One more thing. Fu also visited. The old man said he would be recommending her for promotion as well. Naruto smiled, knowing his fellow Jinchuriki deserved her promotion, defeating Shino and giving Hinata a good fight. After he was discharged, Jiraiya left to speak with the Hokage, while the Genin were sent to help with the village repairs. As they were walking, Naruto entered his mindscape to talk with the fox. Do you think Gaara will be okay? Like you told his siblings, his mind is already broken. But he can start again, and he will be able to live a normal life, as long as he has the strength to do so. Naruto agreed. So, what do you think I should do during the meeting with the council? Show them your claws, of course. Meaning what? Give them the information. Tell them you know how to use the reanimation jutsu. Tell them you seal Shukaku. Scare them. Like I haven't done that already, Naruto pointed out, rolling his eyes. Kid, you faced and subdued a tailed beast and a Sannin without using my chakra. The only thing you used it for was to keep yourself from fainting. If you hadn't fought the young Uchiha brat and toyed with him, you wouldn't have fainted. Plus, you pulled out a boss summons, something not just anyone has the chakra for. Put all those together, and only 2 days of exhaustion, and you could be stronger than the whole council combined without me. Naruto saw his point. He decided to think over it later. For now, he had construction work to deal with. As the two approached the build site, familiar faces were seen carrying bricks and wood. Their Genin friends were slaving away, helping with the repairs. On the other hand, the Jonin sensei were standing around, chatting. Well, isn't it the man of the hour? The others looked up at Kiba's words, seeing the two walking towards them. The Jonin stopped as well. We heard that you not only dealt with Gaara, but you also helped the Hokage, Ino said, practically squealing. Naruto scratched the back of his head. It was not that big a deal. Don't try to act all nonchalant about it, Shikamaru said. All of that easily sends you to tuning level. I would not be surprised if you were instantly sent to Jonin. Oh, come on, Shikamaru. I heard the rest of you gave the enemy hell while protecting the civilians. Shikamaru rolled his eyes. Sure, they had done well, but compared to Naruto, they were nothing. The only few out of their group who even came remotely close were his teammates, Sasuke, Neji, and Lee, now that he could move without his crutch. As if on cue, Naruto turned to the green-clawed boy. You're looking better. Lee nodded. My body is back to full power, and guess what? I can use chakra now. Watch! Lee jumped back and brought his pointer and middle fingers to form a cross. Hinata's Byakugan activated, seeing chakra slowly build up in Lee's body. And in a brilliant poof of smoke, a second Lee appeared beside the original. And then, it instantly fell to the ground, a defective clone. Everyone deadpanned as the dead clone popped, and Lee donned a pouting expression. Naruto chuckled. "Looks like you still need more practice." Lee continued to pout, with Tenten trying to reassure him. "Well, now that that's out of our way, let's get back to work. Chop chop, my friends." "And since when were you in charge, dope?" a familiar voice asked. Naruto turned to see Sasuke, his coal eyes staring straight at him. Naruto watched as the Uchiha came to stand face to face with him. He could tell instantly that something was off about him. He had expected the Uchiha to avoid him after their fight, but something must have happened during the invasion. The Sasuke he knew would not speak up like this over simple construction work. "I never said I was the boss, but if no one else is going to act, I might as well. Now, I do not care about who is leading, so long as everyone is doing their part." Naruto turned his ice blue stare to the adults. "That includes you as well. No slacking off just because you're joning." The jonin sweat dropped, feeling the intense gaze of the blonde tearing into their souls. "Agreed," Guy shouted enthusiastically. "We have the power of youth. We must use it to help fix the village. Not doing so would be a disgrace. Come, Lee, let us work." "Yes, Guy-sensei, and if we cannot, then I will do 1,000 push-ups." And so, the two dashed off, and continued to go on about their power of youth, much to the dismay of the others. "At least one of you is not lazy," Naruto muttered, ignoring Sasuke's glare, and turning back to begin helping with the repairs. As they were carrying wood planks to the workers, Sakura silently came to stand by Naruto and Hinata. She had a look of concern in her green gaze. "Is it about Sasuke?" Sakura nodded slowly. "I thought so," he replied. "Did something happen while I was out, or during the invasion?" Sakura nodded. "He got angry when Hinata took charge of the team. He said that he was the strongest, and that he should lead." Naruto raised his eyebrows. "I thought he was the kind of guy who just did his own thing and didn't care about leadership." "Most of the time you are correct, but he tends to get annoyed whenever one of the other genin gets placed in charge or is asked for an idea. One time we were doing a mission with Team 10. Asuma and Kakashi Sensei decided to let us take out a squad of bandits while they watched from afar. Team 10 thought it was best that we devise a strategy before attacking. I agreed, as well as Kiba, although reluctantly. Sasuke said that we outnumbered them, and that we could take them out quickly if we all jumped out at them. To put it bluntly, Shikamaru called him an idiot, and that numbers did not mean that they would win, and that having a plan was the best thing to do. No one took Sasuke's side. I tried to stop him, but he just jumped down, killing half of the group before Kakashi Sensei jumped in, pulled him out, and dealt with the rest. So he does not like strategy and team play, and prefers to go in full force. He dislikes when his peers do not listen, and he is willing to leave them behind to accomplish the mission. Naruto sighed. I knew he was willing to do anything to gain power. Unfortunately, ever since he got that curse mark from Orochimaru, he has been acting more power-hungry. Sakura tilted her head in confusion. I thought you removed the curse mark. I did, Naruto responded, shrugging. My best guess is that some of Orochimaru's influence is still swirling inside his head. Sakura took the explanation. She wanted to say more, but did not know how to put it into words. You're worried about him. Sakura looked up at Hinata. Yes. Honestly, we cannot do much about him, Naruto explained. At the moment, he is only interested in gaining enough power to avenge his clan. And he is willing to do anything in order to gain it. All we can do is hope that Orochimaru, or anything for that matter, does not push him over the edge and make him abandon the village. Sakura nodded once more. She knew that there truly was nothing they could do except wait. Still, it pained her that she had to stand by and do nothing. Just get stronger, she whispered to herself. Get stronger, so that you can help him, or stop him, if he tries to leave. The next 2 hours were spent on carrying materials to the work sites. Being shinobi, they all had plenty of strength, but they still needed help carrying their larger loads from the Jonin, who, after being scolded by Naruto, decided to pitch in. The strongest of the Genin were Naruto, who knew how to enhance his strength with his endless chakra. The other was Lee, who had the training of Guy, another taijutsu specialist. Hinata and Choji, with his Akimichi Clanjutsu, came in close behind. As they were heading out for their lunch break, a Chunin came to deliver a message. The following Genin are to report to the Shinobi Council immediately. Shikamaru Nara, Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga, Naruto Uzumaki, and Sasuke Uchiha. Team 8 nodded to each other. They knew what this was about. Shikamaru knew, but wished he could have a nap instead. Sasuke had no clue, since he had never been summoned by the council. But he noticed that the others called all made it to the final round of the Chunin exams, which gave him a hint. The Genin were quickly escorted to the council chamber. Inside, they were greeted by the heads of the multiple clans within the village. They all had blank expressions on their faces, as usual, Naruto mused. The Hokage stood at the head of the table. Normally, this business would not draw attention from the council, but considering the circumstances, we thought it best. More so, because more than one of our people is getting promoted. The Genin stiffened at the word promotion, standing in line, facing their Kage. Hiruzen pulled a scroll from his robes, rolling it out on the table. He pushed chakra into the storage seal, revealing 5 vests. Hiruzen picked up the first and moved to stand in front of Shikamaru. Shikamaru Nara, for your impressive show of strategy and intelligence during the exams, as well as your efforts during the invasion, I hereby promote you to the rank of Chunin. Shikamaru took the vest. What a pain. Now I won't be able to sleep at all, will I? Hiruzen chuckled internally. But Nara would always be the same. He moved on to the next vest. Shino Aburame, for not only showing us the strength of your clan's techniques, and of course your battle against the Jinchuriki of the Hidden Waterfall, but also for your support during the invasion. I hereby promote you to the rank of Chunin. Shino accepted the vest, giving a simple nod to the Hokage. Only his father, Shibi, noticed the barest of smiles grace his lips. Hinata Hyuga, you displayed a vast number of skills and techniques in your match against your cousin, and the previously mentioned Waterfall Jinchuriki. On top of that, you took charge of the other Genin to protect the civilians and the village. For that, I hereby promote you to the rank of Chunin. Hinata accepted her vest, a confident smile on her face, much to the disdain of her father, who, for once, did not hold back his hatred. Hiruzen moved to stand before Sasuke. Sasuke, before we continue, there is something I, as your Hokage, wish to say. While you may have performed well during the invasion, as well as the other portions of the exams, the finals were far from tolerable. You openly wished to take the power Naruto Uzumaki possesses as this village's Jinchuriki, and you attempted to kill him. You let your emotions take control, which is not befitting of a ninja. You may not have succeeded in your attempt, but it is still inexcusable. Unfortunately, the council does not agree with my decision to keep you as a genin. As a result, a compromise has been made. You will be promoted to Chunin rank in title, and will gain access to the information given by that title, with some exceptions. But you will remain on your current team led by Kakashi Hatake, and will continue to act as a genin squad. I shall only say this once. You were only ever considered to be made Chunin because you are the only Uchiha clan member loyal to the village. Sasuke gritted his teeth, anger showing on his face. Sure, he had access to more information, but he was still bound to a genin squad. He had made little progress towards his ultimate goal, his reason for existing. He felt his revenge against Itachi slip farther from his reach. You are hereby promoted to the status of restrictive Chunin. You will receive your Chunin vest, which has a symbol for restricted on the arms and back. In the future, once you have proven yourself on more missions, you will be given a normal vest. Sasuke stiffly took his vest, pulling himself back from not lashing out at everyone in the room. His eyes were covered by the shadows in the room, but Naruto could tell that his Sharingan was spinning. He was brought out of his musing when Hiruzen came to stand before him, a vest in his hands. Naruto Uzumaki, you showed an impressive array of skills and faced many opponents during the exams. You, alongside your squad mates, proved that you were the best genin of your class. You showed that you were able to keep your emotions in check, and that you performed effectively under stress. On top of that, you almost single-handedly sealed the One-Tails Jinchuriki, Gaara, and helped me and Lord Jiraiya in our fight against Orochimaru. You encountered him twice during the last month, and managed to force him to retreat by yourself in the Forest of Death. Taking into account all of this information, I have come to a decision. Hiruzen glanced behind him. A decision that cannot be challenged by anyone. The clan heads tensed. I hereby promote you to Special Jonin, and you will receive a Jonin vest. As a Special Jonin, you are classified as having a specific field that you excel in. I have you placed as a sealing expert and ninjutsu expert. You will have limited restrictions, which will be lifted once you are experienced enough to become a full-fledged Jonin. You may not yet go on solo missions, as you don't have the necessary experience. You and your old team may decide if you wish to continue working together at a later date. Naruto was speechless. His appearance betrayed nothing, but internally, he was at a loss for words. Kurama was laughing his head off. In their years together, he had not seen his Jinchuriki like this since before him and Hinata got together. Naruto was brought out of his head when Hinata placed a hand on his shoulder. Congratulations, Naruto. Yeah, was all he could say. Shikamaru just grunted with a grin on his face. Shino gave him his regular nod, and Sasuke was trembling with rage. Naruto took the Jonin vest from the Hokage. He looked at it for a moment, taking in the appearance of the dull green jacket that so many shinobi work towards. "Thank you, old man. This means a lot." Hiruzen returned the smile. "Now, go forth, my brave ninja of the Hidden Leaf, and make me and our village proud." "Yes, Lord Hokage," the newly promoted ninja said in unison. After brief congratulations from the other council members, Sasuke immediately left to return to his clan's compound, while Shina went off with Shikamaru to meet with their senseis and friends. Hinata hanged back. "Are you gonna be okay?" Naruto ran his hand through her hair, her cheeks turning pink. "I'll be fine. I've dealt with the council before. I'll meet you and the others outside later so we can celebrate our promotion." Hinata nodded, her face brightening each moment Naruto's hands messed up her dark blue hair. "Okay, I'll see you later." She leaned in and kissed him on the cheek before running off to join up with Shino and Shikamaru. Naruto turned back to face Hiruzen. "She is as kind as she is dangerous. Kind of reminds me of your mother, Kushina. Consider yourself lucky you found someone like her so early on, Naruto." Naruto gave a foxy grin, which quickly turned to a blank stare, as did Hiruzen's. Things were about to get heated. "I think I'm going to improvise on your original plan, Kurama," Naruto told the fox. "Fine by me, kid. Just make sure you show them who's boss." Naruto smirked mentally at the fox. "I plan to." Naruto returned from his mindscape as Hiruzen took his seat at the head of the table. He gestured for the blonde to begin his report. Naruto nodded and stepped forward, hands behind his back. "I shall begin with my battle against Shukaku. It began in the stadium, where one of my and Jiraiya's clones, as well as Genma, Shiranui, and Haite Gecko, raised a barrier. Gaara's team were taken away before I engaged him. Shortly after, he fully transformed, and the barrier went down. He retreated to the forest, where I summoned the Toad boss, Gamabunta. He distracted Shukaku, who had taken full control of Gaara's body. While the two fought, I snuck onto Shukaku's head, and drew a new seal to replace the original, which was little more than a regular storage seal. I sealed Shukaku away, using up the rest of my chakra. Kurama kept me awake until I returned Gaara to his team, and I could refill my reserves. After that, me and Lord Jiraiya managed to enter the barrier Orochimaru had placed around Lord Hokage. We found out that the rogue Sannin had used the forbidden reanimation jutsu to summon the first and second Hokage. They were not at their full strength, so with some effort, we were able to restrain them. Lord Jiraiya occupied Orochimaru, while Lord Second told me how to break the control of the reanimation jutsu. I managed to override Orochimaru's control, which gave me the power to release the technique. We then forced the rogue Sannin to retreat with his personal shinobi. Afterwards, I released the previous Hokage and fell unconscious out of chakra. I could have woken up sooner, but I was unable to use more of Kurama's chakra without feeling side effects. The council members were dead silent. Thank you, Naruto. Now, if no one has any questions, you may leave. Naruto nodded and immediately turned to leave. He was stopped by the voice of Danzo. I think this goes without saying, but it would be best to hand over the secrets of the reanimation jutsu and the formula you used to seal Shukaku to the council. Naruto turned back to face the council. I am afraid I will have to deny your request. The reanimation jutsu is forbidden for a reason. Besides, it is in the scroll of sealing. Read it for yourself if you want. As for the formula, I only plan to give it to the Sand Village, and only to make sure Gaara is safe from Shukaku's influence. Danzo's eyes narrowed so little Naruto almost thought he was seeing things. Anything else? Hiruzen asked. Danzo was silent, sitting back down in his chair. He saw the reason for the reanimation jutsu, although he did not like it. As for the formula, it was not as powerful as the one placed on the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, so he was not worried about it. The next to stand was Inoichi Yamanaka. If we are to believe that you had the chakra necessary to perform all these tasks, how is it that you were able to gain said chakra? Secondly, how much of the Nine-Tails chakra can you control without suffering these side effects you mentioned? Naruto brought his hand to his chin, deciding on how to explain this without giving anything major away. Hey kid. Naruto jumped to his mindscape, with Kurama holding his claw above the blonde. He tapped his head, making Naruto give him an evil stare. Switch with me. Naruto waved the claw away. I got a better idea. Back in the real world, Naruto made a shadow clone. Once it had appeared, it began to change. His eyes turned red with slitted pupils, and his whiskers grew. His voice changed as well to that of the fox. We meet again, the Kurama clone said. Those who feared the beast tensed. Sometimes you have some clever ideas, brat. To answer your question, Naruto started, I have roughly twice the amount of chakra that the Hokage has at full strength. Compared to the tailed beasts, Kurama continued, that is bordering half the amount of chakra my youngest brother, Shukaku, possesses. As for how I have that much, other than training day and night, I think you know the answer, Naruto finished. Hiruzen watched the pair closely. Was Naruto going to reveal he knew his heritage to the council? Enlighten us, Inoichi taunted. Well, Naruto went back to his thinking pose, making Kurama hold back a snicker. I don't know the full details. All I know is that my clan, specifically the Uzumaki clan, possessed people with superhuman amounts of chakra and natural life force. That is the reason the fourth made me the savior of the village, because I was the only one who could bear the Nine-Tails. Hiruzen let out a mental sigh. He was not ready to try to explain to the council that Minato was Naruto's father. The only information that the council had about the blonde was that he was the son of Kushina, the previous Jinchuriki. Somehow, the fourth and his wife kept their marriage a secret to all but a select few. They had no idea who the father was, and apparently, they were too stupid to notice the physical similarities between Minato and the boy. Speaking of, I never got to chew you guys out for keeping me as a weapon. A weapon that you clearly don't know how to control. Kurama's chakra spiked at the statement, clearly showing his disdain towards the people present. The council members jumped out of their seats, except Shikaku, Shibi, and Sume. Hiruzen remained seated as well, used to the pressure given off by Kurama. Calm down, Foxy, Naruto chuckled. His response was a snarl. We both know you're just as angry. Sure, I just know how to conceal it, you idiot. Stop toying with us, boy, Hiyashi yelled. And stop acting like we are not human beings like you, Naruto retorted. Hiruzen spoke next. Not all of us see you two that way. Perhaps, but there are enough to make it annoying. Naruto replied with ice in his voice. Kurama nodded in agreement. He turned his blood-red gaze to each of the adults. The Nara trusts Naruto, and is willing to trust me. So are the Aburame and the Inuzuka. The Akimichi is on the line of whether to trust us or not. The Yamanaka and the Hyuga, as well as the elders, hold absolute disdain for both of us, and I see no sign of them changing their mind. Finally, your Hokage places absolute faith in us, and that is not even mentioning the fact that most if not all of the citizens hate us as well, though that may begin to change after the exams. The room was silent once again. Hiruzen smiled softly, as did the ones that Kurama mentioned saw the two as human. The others were gasping for air due to the pressure Kurama was still giving off. Kurama returned the smile sent his way, turning to the fox. He made a gesture across his neck, signaling Kurama to stop. Kurama begrudgingly complied. You are lucky I trust the human you placed me in, or else I would tear you to shreds. He turned to his friend. I'm tired. Try not to wake me until tomorrow. With that, the fox's clone body popped. Naruto scratched the back of his head. Yeah. I'll try to let you get your beauty sleep. You only have it 3 times a day. Well, now that you are all sufficiently angry, I will take my leave. With that, Naruto vanished in a body flicker. Danzo, as always after meetings with the Uzumaki, left first, followed closely by the 2 elders. His mind was swirling with thoughts. Not only was Naruto growing in strength at an alarming rate, but it also seemed that the fox was getting more freedom than he should. Fortunately, the fox listened to the boy, for now anyway. Naruto's friends on the council left next. I suggest you make a decision on what you plan to do, Shikaku said to the hateful members. I agree, Sume added, with Shibi nodding behind her. Who knows, Hiruzen finished, as he too stood to leave. That boy and fox you hate so much might take the role of Hokage someday. Hidden Leaf Prison. Gaara sat silently in the prison cell him and his teammates were staying in. His mind had been swirling with thoughts that for once were his own. Ever since Shukaku had been removed from his mind, his bloodthirsty tendencies vanished. He didn't know what to do. His siblings had been talking to him with warmth in their voice. Their attitude completely changed. Even Baki did not sound worried about the redhead. His thoughts were interrupted by the noise of the cell door opening. He looked up to see the face of the blonde-haired boy that had changed his life. How are you guys feeling? Your comrades treat us better than we deserve, Baki responded. But we do wish to know when we will be able to return home. Tomorrow an escort will be here to bring you home, as well as the sealing formula that I used on Gaara, Naruto answered. Why? Why did you save me? Naruto turned to his fellow Jinchuriki, surprised by the question. He stared at Gaara for a moment and replied, You had no one. Gaara's green eyes widened. You had no one who could help you. You deserved the chance to live a normal life. You have people that hate to see you lusting for blood. Whoever put Shukaku inside you deserves to burn in hell, for not only making you a living sacrifice, but for also using that damned seal. Gaara was silent as Naruto continued. I was lucky to have people that cared for me, and even more lucky that my tailed beast accepted me. Someday, I want the world to recognize me for who I am. I want the same for you. I want to give you that chance that I was given. Naruto pulled a 3-pronged kunai from his pouch and laid it on the floor in front of the boy. If you are ever in trouble, send chakra to this kunai. Think of it as a gift. Gaara stared at the blade at a loss for words. Naruto turned to leave. Remember that you have friends in both the sand and the leaf. Once you get home, work to make the village acknowledge you as a great shinobi. Right the wrongs that you have done. Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki. Gaara stuttered back. Naruto grinned. No problem. I will see you around. He waved as he disappeared from view. Brother.